Censorship, be it gaming related, free speech, or your rights in general, is getting worse by the day. I think most of us have already noticed this. Be it through a government institution or a quasi government institution like Visa or MasterCard, it is undoubtedly getting worse. And unless you're a spineless loser, you probably don't exactly like it. And you know what's the funniest part? About all the people who support this, because yes, there are individuals that stupid, that depraved out there. The thing about these people is mostly they're just stupid. Mostly they're just so stupid they can't figure out that the only reason that they like censorship because currently it's working in their favor. But the moment that it's not going to work in their favor, and the thing with that censorship is there's always going to time when it's going to work not in your favor. Then they're going to suddenly see, oh, maybe this is actually not that good. And when these idiots see it, it's going to be too late. But, let's not be too harsh on the asmongold fanboys, okay? In any case, it's not looking good, and currently gaming is on the forefronts for this, honestly. So, let's hope that something good happens. There are chances, but it's looking worse and worse by the day because Valve has been losing a little bit in this regard.
I think it is fair to say if you're playing games, Steam it's the center marketplace. It has only continued to grow. It is the biggest platform, and it has been under fire for a variety of reasons over the years.
Remember, Microsoft offered literally for the heart and soul of the PC marketplace 7 billion. Was it 7 or 6 or something billion? Less than for Bethesda, the company that brought you Starfield. And the world is truly a dark place.
But especially of note earlier this year was the fact that we've seen payment processors asserting their will over the platform. Visa, MasterCard, PayPal have basically said that they can ignore rules, laws, all of that. They can go at their own discretion and choose when it is appropriate for them to allow or even give the option of payments.
Yep, and everyone knows the best part about this, it's all bullshit. All of their rules, all of their regulations, all of their whatever you want to call it, is based on nothing. It's just smoke and mirrors. It's just the fact that they don't want something. They don't like something. It goes against their probably internal politics and what the woke losers in these companies believe. That's probably the reality of this. Because let's be real. Adult games on Steam are bad? But sure, let the payment processing for OF and PH up, that's fine. Don't worry about that. That's absolutely fine. But for Steam, now that's going too far. I think everyone knows that this is absolute BS.
And that has caused a lot of concern over freedom of speech and censorship, but also just recently, last month, Steam payment headaches grow as PayPal is no longer usable for much of the world. Valve hopes to bring it back in the future, but the timeline is uncertain. And that's why there's been definitely a lot of calls for like a crypto integration into the platform, different options to, take out this monopoly power that these payment processors currently hold. But look, Valve is not perfect by any means. Obviously, they've done a lot of pro-consumer things we've talked extensively about on the channel, such as their decision to make it that, publishers have to outline when they're using AI. It definitely exposes, franchises like Call of Duty who have been trying to keep.
I like the decision that outlines the use of AI. Granted, I ain't no AI purist. I think most artists are, self-thought sniffing losers who want all the admiration and, they suck at their job most of the times. The reality of AI is no artist that's actually good is going to get replaced by AI. But all the shitty ones, they're gone. And they're going to be the ones who yell. Because they're insane. Most artists are absolutely insane, especially the ones that aren't actually good but demand attention. Oh, I'm an artist. My opinion matters because I'm an artist. I have seen too many of these people.
quiet on that, while they're still charging an arm and a leg for just about everything. But there's also in-game advertisements. That would be another great example. It really keeps the AAA games industry in check with their greed. But look, like I said, Valve, not perfect. How they've gone about their loot boxes and all of that has been a major sore spot on the company for, I have to say, it's been over a decade now. And even some of the recent changes that they made definitely...
Hey, people love their CS gambling, what can I say?
It looks like they're trying to dodge gambling regulations. They like to put their hands over their eyes because they're raking in so much money from the Counter-Strike 2 skins and loot box, all of that stuff. It's just one of those things that's only going to continue into the future, and it's going to be one of those things that they are always going to face criticism for. But obviously, I don't think they care about any of that. But a more recent revived criticism that really is just about video games, period, is, well, Gabe Newell having...
God, that headline, boys, Jesus.
Well, he's being right now requested to come in front of Congress and testify, I guess, about the nature of violent video games, because yes, the year is 1998, and based on...
Well, the radicalization is real. Let's not kid ourselves. Something probably needs to be done about the... I'm not going to say radical left, because this is all leftists. They're all mentally ill and completely delusional. They all endorse violence. They all want violence without exception. They all should be on watch lists. There's no such thing as a radical leftist. They're all like that by definition, and there's nothing that can be done about it. Okay? There is no differentiation between them. Okay? And this situation is, well, needed. I mean, look at... They tried to assassinate Trump. They did assassinate Charlie Kirk. How? They're claiming to be the party of peace? Well, they're somehow piling bodies on the floor. That's very interesting strategy of claiming that you're the party of the peace. So yes, these people need to be hunted down on platforms and put into, watch lists or something like that, because all of them are insane lunatics and dangerous.
The rhetoric that we've been hearing as of late definitely feels like that is going to be one of the scapegoats for some of the recent events that have been happening around the world. Now, while that is one of the big things that has been happening as of late, there's also something else, and it's, I guess you could say, a bigger issue for consumers right now who are playing games on Steam, because there is a massive hole that Valve is not talking about, and they have barely given any attention that opens really anybody up to having their identities stolen, credit card details, crypto, all of that.
I have not heard about this, but boys, do me a favor, be nice people, and like the video, hype it up if you're on mobile device. I greatly appreciate it. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, kiss, kiss. It greatly helps me out. And if you think this stuff is important, well, then that's the reason why you should do it. Because if you like or hype or whatever, it's gonna increase the amount of people who see this, and more people will know that this stuff is happening. Because I think it's important. If you do also, then, spread the word. Thank you.
That, and we've already seen thousands of dollars being stolen based on this exploit. Now, this is where we get into the main story of this video, and it is a game called Block Blasters. Infected Steam game downloads malware disguised as patch. A 2D platformer called Block Blasters has recently started showing signs of malicious activity after a patch release on August 30th. While users are playing the game, various bits of information are lifted from the PC the game is running on, including crypto wallet data. Hundreds of users are potentially...
Oh, because it's Blockbusters, right. Crypto bros are gonna download this on accident because they think it has something to do with the blockchain.
Affected. We've already seen victims going online, reporting, showing stories, and it is absolutely brutal, and it's actually very scary how easy this has been achieved right now. And this is one of those things that Valve has to be on. They have to change how they're going about scanning files and allowing updates. That is the big thing that needs to be focused on with this story. But look, this is the Steam page when it was up. Block Blasters. Blast your way through waves of crab monsters in this action-packed 2D platform armored with powerful blaster, fight, dodge, and survive as you take down creepy crawlers and face off against relentless enemies and block blasters. Look, it's got very positive reviews, 67 of them, 222 overall, came out about a month ago.
Where have I seen this exact art before?
or so a game. You know, if you're wanting to support the indie game scene, that's what a lot of people were saying after Silksong. You might see a game like this. It's from a new developer. It's Genesis Interactive. There's nothing really said about this developer. You would just assume, look, I want to help this.
But the cheap loser devs told me that if I support indie games and I like Silksong, I'm an evil person. Oh no.
Environment. I want to play this game, support the developer, give it a try. That's what a lot of people would assume, but doing so could come with massive ramifications, again, because Valve isn't scanning update files. And this is where the story really starts to take its head on. And this is actually a known hacker individual. He was one of the individuals that really gave a lot of the details when the Grand Theft Auto 6 hacker was going about his stuff a couple of years ago, if you remember that situation. But yeah, he said the technique that was used by David to hire someone from Telegram to make the video game. That's what specifically happened with this. That is the story about who Genesis Interactive. It is an actual game. It's just a very cheap one that was being really used to, it was a Trojan horse for what they really wanted to accomplish here. And that's what has led to this. Steam game removed after Crypto Stealer takes over $150,000. There's been reports this has actually gotten closer to $1 million with some of the victims. It's unclear if that's accurate, but yes, thousands of dollars we know for sure has been stolen. The Block Blasters.
Okay. I'm not gonna lie, I don't believe this. So, we're talking about a random niche indie title? And that probably doesn't have, I'm assuming it didn't even reach like 1K concurrent players, with only 200 very positive reviews. But that seems bullshit. Seems absolute bullshit. There's no way. Like, this has to be some kind of really situation where they hit like an accident, like one really big wallet, or something, because there's no way that random people from an indie game about some kind of roguelike game just happen to have this much in crypto. What the hell?
Thieves targeted streamers with a game containing malware designed to steal crypto. And SteamDB, as they noted here, a game on Steam called Black Blasters, which was available for a month, contained info stealer crypto malware. The game has now been removed from Steam. And it is important to understand this game was on the platform for well over a month. Valve didn't do anything for weeks with, again, this malware was on there, and it is really because of the fact that they just did not scan the files. And this is what's raised by this user, Haiku. Steam's automated detection of malware is bad. Malicious developers can get a clean build reviewed by a real human and then updated to have undetected malware at any time. This free game was updated 22 days ago to add an info stealer, and Steam still didn't detect.
I mean, the real question here, by the way, is Steam actually bad at detecting malware or not? Because I would assume that's not the case. Because I assume a lot of people are trying to do stuff like this. I would assume this is not something new. I would assume that Steam probably has a decent detection system for this. Otherwise, we would be hearing about this, well, constantly, to be honest. So I wonder, is this actually true? Because I kind of doubt it. Then again, the whole story of stealing 100... let's actually check. Block Blasters. Okay. Oops. Let's open a new tab. SteamDB Blog Blasters. It's probably gonna still exist, right? In-game. All-time peak last month, August. This game didn't even have 8 concurrent players. Well, actually, it only says from the 1st of August. Wait, no, this is probably a new game, right? Release date, July. Oh, no, so it is. So this game literally... Something's not adding up here, boys, okay? Listen, look. I'll show you. I'll share the screen. Something's not adding up. This seems bullshit. Okay, so, listen. See? Release date, 30th July 2025, okay? And here we have it. 4 players, 2 players. Like... This thing, maybe, just maybe. Also, by the way, if this whole thing is updated just for malware purposes, wouldn't it be free to play? But I think it has a price, or it had a price, right? But look at this. How many copies do you think this sold? Maybe 100? Something like that? I mean, 100's being maybe even generous here, honestly. So maybe 100 copies sold, and between those 100 copies max sold, you hackers stole 150K? This seems fake. This seems definitely fake. It doesn't. These numbers do not add up.
Crawlers and face off against relentless.
Oops, we're somewhere here.
The game has now been removed from Steam. And it is important to understand this game was on the platform. Detection of malware is bad. Malicious developers can get a clean build reviewed by a real human and then updated to have undetected malware at any time. This free game was updated 22 days ago to add an info stealer, and Steam still didn't detect it, and they only took it down just the other day. And it is said that hundreds of individuals had downloaded it, and there's multiple reports coming out now about victims, one of which we're going to get into in a second. But look, this has been a well-documented problem on the platform. Spectre analyst.
Honestly, make fake game, get 5 people to download it, tell Steam that you are now responsible for me losing a billion, trillion, gajillion in crypto. Show random blockchain wallet that got stolen from as proof. Profit. Bruh, this sounds fake. I'm not gonna lie, this whole situation sounds fake.
Another Twitter user who covers stuff like this, an analyst on crypto and all of this, says the fact is Steam has always been like this for over the years. They lack robust developer verification and never improve on it. It almost seems like they enjoy watching their users fall victim to compromises. And these are some of the reports. Steam store spreads malware after hacker hijacks developer accounts. That was in October of 2023. Another story, which is from May of 2025, hacker advertises alleged database of 89 million Steam 2FA code, source of leak unknown. Another story from just this year, malicious
source leak unknown. Okay.
This game infects Steam users with info stealing malware. This happened all the way back in March. And yeah, Valve removes troublesome entry in the library. Pirate Fi, a free-to-play game released last week, which was again back in March, has been removed from Valve's Steam game library because it hosted malicious code. This has already happened before, and Valve has not done anything about this problem except for removing these experiences from the platform.
I mean, how do you know that they haven't done anything about this, though? I don't like this type of what do we call this? This type of conversation that we're having here? Because we would never know if Valve has or hasn't done anything about this. The reality is, most big companies get hacked also. Not that that's, by the way, an excuse, but that's just the thing. So, Valve not having any real big hacks with a bunch of leaks is kind of impressive, honestly. So, and I can assure you, there's probably 100 different people groups trying to hack Valve every day, and nothing has been leaked. I mean, this doesn't seem that bad to me. Okay, and again, like, hiding malicious code and whatnot in a game, I don't know how hard that is, but I'm assuming that's, I mean, Valve reviewing a whole code of a whole game is, I mean, you probably need to have a pretty robust system for that. I don't know about this. I don't feel confident saying Valve's bad in this. Okay, I feel I'm missing information, so I don't want to actually say that.
That is not enough. And yes, people are calling out Valve right now. As you can see in this post right under Steam, it has 4,000 upvotes on it. And this was actually just a normal post about some other indie game that they were advertising. You clowns allow
400 views, eh? But 4.2k likes and 200. This doesn't seem real.
Malware on your platform that has resulted in over $150,000 stolen from victims. Fake game has been available to download for more than a month. And if we go back to the full story from G Database Cyber Defense, this is what specifically it modes. Blockbusters is a 2D platformer shooter game developed by Genesis Interactive. The game was released on July 31st, which garnered hundreds of positive reviews. But on August 30th, 2025, this month-old game released a patch that contains files exhibiting multiple malicious behaviors, which were flagged by GData MXDR. And then it goes on to mention that in 2025, there's been a rise in malware infections in games being released on the popular games platform Steam. The perhaps most notable case is that of Pirate Fi, which I just mentioned a second ago, a free-to-play game that comes with an information-stealing malware. The most recent malware infection in a game was Chimia, an early access title on Steam, which was compromised by a threat actor known as Encrypt Hub through the injection of malicious binaries. These threat actors bypassed initial security screening from Valve, which allowed the deployment of malicious patches and infected multiple users of the platform. Now we observed a similar case in another Steam release game called Block Blasters, further highlighting the ongoing risks to players. And this is a massive issue because as people start learning about this, there is going to be, I think rightfully so, a lot of individuals. Can you trust this random indie developer that you've never heard of? This is really going to hurt those.
Yeah. I mean, probably not.
Developers, people that are trying to come up.
Look at the absolute insane amount of scams, by the way, on platforms like Kickstarter.
And right now, Valve just has not given any answers to this problem. Now, a check on the historical logs of Block Blaster found in SteamDB, a known telemetry site for Steam games, shows that the patch contains the following files in Figure 1. The patch affects hundreds of players who currently have the game installed on their systems. That is ultimately what has been happening.
Hundreds, you say? I kind of press X to doubt on hundreds.
And this is where things get from bad to worse. So you see this Block Blasters page that we went over just a second or so ago. You see those 222 positive reviews. You might have thought those were authentic. They were not, as this individual pointed out.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense that they're authentic considering we had like an average of what, fucking 5 people playing the game. It's not. Maybe it's getting like 40.
This is genuinely quite mental. Steam called Block Blasters has genuine malware in it and has been on Steam for over 53 days. Also has over 200 fake reviews from bot accounts. Even some that have done negative reviews to make the whole thing look legit. Worst thing is, again, it looks like it's been on at least 22 days without Steam taking it down. And yeah, these are all fake reviews to lure people into thinking.
Mikey T blah 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 Receptmeister. Listen, still better bots than naming scheme than Wizards of the Coast. I ain't gonna lie, boys.
That it's okay to download it and just to play it. And another user, Ocular Malice, points out, hey friends, please report the game for malware. The game contains hidden files and now the dev is deleting any posts that indicate that. Note the first malware post has been deleted. Ocular Malice, he's another individual that covered the day before developers, some of the sneaky behavior that they've done in the past, and here he is covering this situation. And yeah,
I mean, listen, just ban Russian developers in general. Problem solved. I can guarantee you these people are from Russia. If I Google that, I'm pretty sure that it's gonna be we're gonna find that they're Russian.
They're taking, the developer behind this has been taking all of this down, any evidence pointing to this game not being real and also being harmful to users. Now, Ocular Malice, the same user that I just cited a second ago, he points out this folder, this directory, which should contain a single DLL, contains an entire set of applications and zip files that contains tools to hack your system and bypass any antivirus. And then he points out again to report the game, but obviously since it has been taken offline. But the thing is, this is not where the story ends, because the sophistication behind this malicious game, there are layers to this. So here this user, TeddyXRu, brings up the fact that, yeah, people will right now are telling individuals to download and play a normal looking Steam game with them. The plot twist though, they're filled with malware. Why is a partnered streamer asking for a crypto streamer to download a seemingly random single player game?
Oh my god, yeah, they've thought, okay, so if they target wait, what the fuck is a crypto streamer though? Okay, man, okay, listen, I mean, leave it to a crypto bro to download something like this, okay? Leave it to a crypto bro fucking... So, the name is actually intentional. Oh my god, this is a whole scheme to get in. Oh my god. Well, listen, okay? A hot take. Leave it up. Leave it up on Steam. Leave it up. Reinstate it. It's fine. If they're just targeting actual crypto bros, this is fine. Every crypto bro deserves, well, Destiny's opinions, okay? Crypto bros are absolute fucking cancer. They're idiots. They're as bad as tech bros on average. Tech bros are trying to fucking now build well, they're literally trying to build skyscrapers in the ground where they can sell you oxygen as a luxury and sunlight as a luxury. And they're reinventing trains for the fifth time this year with that are less effective, smaller, and kill me. I mean Minecraft. YouTube, please. Okay? Listen, anyone who targets tech bros and crypto bros is actually a hero, okay? I wish folk songs were written about you.
And apparently this method has been used a lot. It's a specific scenario that is only continued. And this is one of the chats that happened with Blockblasters. We had a partner streamer, Heen, who says, hey, will you try out my new Steam game? So the name is Blockblasters. Yep, they go to a bunch of crypto chats. You may not even think anything of that once you load up the Steam page. Maybe you're a smaller streamer, you don't think too much of it. You see that it has some positive reviews. You don't think that on a platform like Steam that there's something like this could happen. But unfortunately, this Heen user, it is a verified, it is a true streaming account, but the problem is that it was also hacked. And this is actually what the individual, the user, said on their social media, saying, I also got hacked. I'm not the one who made this game.
Oh no! It's a woman! Of course it is.
And then they went on to point out here how they were disturbed with the fact that people are losing thousands upon thousands of dollars due to what happened here. And this is where the story just gets so much worse. Blockblasters removed from Steam for containing malware, $32,000 stolen from streamers' cancer treatment funding. Like I said, this just gets so much nastier, so disturbing. The fact that they went after somebody who's going through cancer, who just got the funds that they absolutely need. It just shows how heartless these individuals are and how Valve has to fucking step up. Streamer Rastaland TV, who has been battling with stage 4 cancer.
Again, the situation is bad, but at the same time, I mean, does Valve actually have to step up? This sounds just like, you know, the South Park episode where they just randomly yelled, we didn't listen, and then other people yelled, we didn't listen. This is kind of a little bit about that. This sounds just like completely self-indulging in the panic, honestly. That's kind of it. Anyway, that was Legacy Killer HD, 10 out of 10, bye!